Hi. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed the film. I'm sure that you enjoyed the film. I'm so excited. Yeah. I'm so excited to talk to our guests, and I'm sure you are too. So please welcome to the stage Lea Thompson and Madelyn Deutch.
Yeah, I want to put you in the middle. Hello? Hello? Oh, yeah, okay.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome, honey.
Okay, so that leads me to the very first thing that I wanted to say to our audience, because I want to make sure that everything is clear about who is who in this film. So, Lea, you directed this film. You are also in it. Madelyn, you wrote this film. You are in it. You scored it. You were also Lea's daughter.
Unfortunately for her.
No, very fortunately.
Okay, but wait.
More.
There's
There's more
more.
excitement.
So it's like a fun house around every
amazing.
corner.
I have so many questions about it. So Zoe Deutch, your sister, your daughter, plays your sister Sabrina in the film.
Yeah.
She's also a producer.
Yes.
And your dad, Howard, also a producer.
Yes.
And that, did I miss anything?
No, and
No,
that Lea, just that Lea directed it and is it plays our mom and is our mom.
Also, my mother's paintings are all the paintings you saw in the movie. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so she's smiling on.
Wait, thank you for coming.
Yes, please. Thank you so much for coming.
No, seriously.
so
It's so
nice.
people don't come out and see movies. I don't understand, but so thank you. It means a lot
really
to
means a lot,
us.
especially our brethren here at SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah, God.
It's so
So
nice.
honored.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
You guys are just so nice. You're very gracious. And you seem very genuinely excited about this. Let's talk about, first of all, was working together as a family something that you always wanted to do?
Well, the first time I worked with Maddie, we were doing, I do a lot of singing for benefits, and which is like the only way anybody gets to sing in Los Angeles is like, I mean, I was just looking at Studio 54. I did cabaret, like, I don't know, when you were just this big, when Zoe was like 4. I did cabaret across the street, played Sally Bowles, but there's no place to sing. So Maddie started singing with me every once in a while and at these benefits when she was 10. I remember we were about to go out on stage to do something called Don't Follow in Your Footsteps. And she had gum. I was like, they were like, Lea Thompson and Maddie Deutch. And she's like, I'm like, Maddie, we gotta sing. And so we
I was born to be a performer.
Yes. So we also do, you know how it is now with self-tapes, like we all have to do self-tapes. So we've been doing self-tapes together. Maddie's currently always directing Zoe in self-tapes, but
I'm currently employed. Every time my sister has an audition, she's like, hi, I'll buy you lunch, but Tarantino's got a new movie. And can you just come over for like, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours, just like a small part of your day.
That's amazing, though. And that actually sounds not so dissimilar to the relationship that you guys have in the film.
We're incredibly codependent. Yeah, we are. No, we really are.
But it seems like in a very lovely way.
Yeah, no, we have our moments, but I think we genuinely just like want the best for each other. But of course, we're also both kind of equally opinionated and strong and kind of stubborn and fiery. Let me put it to you this way. She's a Scorpio and I'm an Aries. I feel really bad for our Gemini mom.
So that I was actually wondering, does working with family make it easier? Is it harder? Is there more conflict? Is there, like, what was the experience like being directed by your mom, directing your daughters, being produced by your dad? Like, what was the effect on the experience of making this movie for you guys?
Honestly, when we were shooting, I feel like I'm away from you, and I
no,
don't want to be. I like you so much.
Oh, I like you too.
I'm a bad person to ask this question because I was very deeply in that character.
Yeah.
So like I was in actor mode when we were shooting, unless somebody was like writer crisis, and then I would like take off that hat. Like I was bento boxed. I would like either be living in this area or that area. And so when I wasn't in writer mode, I was fully in actor mode, and I was really unaware of a lot of stuff going on set a lot of the time. So that's really a better question for her. Yeah.
You know what? This is a super, super duper labor of love, and every bit of it was created with love and passion, and with that, it's a lot of tension and fun. They were laughing all the time. The DP, we had a DP that also was shooting. So, because we had a small budget, so he was like one of them. Like they were the bad kids, and I'd be like, "Stop laughing, stop laughing," and but it was, I don't think we could have made this movie any other way. I mean, it was conceived as a family project. It was conceived as an opportunity for all of us to give each other jobs that no one else would give us.
Oh wow.
It's literally true.
Welcome to our
Ooh,
world
I love
we're
this
living
audience. They
in.
get it.
Yeah.
They're like,
Girl. Yeah, and it's an interesting thing now because I've been in this business. I think I did my first commercial when I was 20, so that's 37 years ago, and here in New York. And this is the first thing I ever really did myself. Like, just said, you guys are we're gonna make this somehow. And it took us 4 years. Yeah. It took us 2 years to get the money, 2 years to get it onto the screen. But this is the first thing I did like that. And I think it's easier now in this climate because there is so much content being created. Yeah. But unfortunately, we have to do it all ourselves now, which is, you have to film it, you have to write it. She had to do the score, but it's okay. It was kind of exciting for me to finally get to have some control over my work, or to actually create something like that as an actor too, and to use all that's been given to me so freely in the many years that I've been in them. 37 years, like I said. I've been here, it's fun to use it all. And, I mean, it's an interesting thing to be a director and have worked with probably 200 directors. Most directors have never worked with another director. I've worked with so many, and I know so much what they do wrong and what they do right.
Yeah. What was it like making the transition? Because you've directed before. You've directed for TV. Mm-hmm. You've directed Separated at Birth, right? And The Goldbergs, and upcoming American Woman, I think.
American Housewife, more Goldbergs.
American Housewife.
I started doing TV movies. I did a couple of TV movies, which are closer to this experience.
Okay.
But it's a completely different experience to do your own thing.
How did you find that transition? Was that, because obviously you've got great standing in this industry and you've been doing it for a long time. So was it just saying I'm going to direct this, or were there hoops to go? You made your own film.
For this movie?
Yeah.
This movie just was always like that. It was always going to be Maddie starring.
Yeah.
I was always going to direct. Okay. And
we still had to turn down certain opportunities though in the process of getting it made in order to keep our vision as one thing.
Okay.
No one was like, oh yeah, let's give you a bunch of money for this script for this girl that no one knows. You know what I mean? Also, when we were trying to get the money for this, it was pre-Me Too Time's Up, and no one gave a about a movie by chicks, about chicks, for chicks, whatever. They did not care. Yeah. And every room we went into, amazingly, people, they weren't excited that I wanted to star in it because it's an issue with foreign pre-sale. It makes it harder for people. But they were way more often than anything we heard in every room we went into. They were like, well, we can't give you the money for this because female-fronted comedies are the riskiest investments in Hollywood. Which is, it's also just not true. I have a friend who did a return on investments for female-fronted comedies in the last 10 years, and they all have a 300% return on investment. So, and he's really smart. I was like, I believe you. They make money. The myth that they don't it's what it is. It's a myth.
Yeah.
So
it's the same thing that when I go in to pitch TV shows with women, they're like, a big network, they're like, well, we can't do that because we already have our one girl show.
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, really? Come on, you can't have two girl shows or something?
No, it's all about that they feel like it was done before. So yeah, it's been done once, so that's plenty.
And I was so inspired because I had been an ingenue. I did, I started with Some Kind of Wonderful and All the Right Moves and Back to the Future and all these great movies in the 80s or whatever, and Red Dawn. But I'd never done a movie when I was an ingenue, up until kind of recently, that was actually written by a woman.
Wow.
And so, for Maddie to have her vision, that is really specific. Like, she was really 23 or 22 when she started writing this movie, and it was very specific vision. Like it or not, that was her vision, and we were going to make it that way. And we got really great producers finally who were like, not only were they down for making a movie with us, but they were also down with you saw it, there's like so many locations. There's snow, there's Tahoe, there's LA, there's San Francisco, there's New York in the spring, there's, the confines of making a movie like that are really, really difficult on a low budget. And so our producers were super cool to just get behind it, because they knew we would be out here selling it like we are now.
I mean, I truly don't understand that idea. I mean, because this movie is, I think, incredibly relatable to young women. As a 41-year-old woman, my perspective was, as much as Izzy seems like she feels like she's lost, I kind of envied how untethered and like that period that she was going through, and before she kind of finds herself or figures out what she wants, and it's also laugh out loud fun. I mean, it is actually, last night I made quinoa, and in my head I was like, quinoa. I was like, the plural of quinoa.
I love you.
So that's who they were stupid.
They are stupid. Let's just throw rocks at them. What do they know? I think we wanted to do a couple things with this. We wanted to marry like a real kind of independent movie with a script that feels like an independent movie script. There's a lot of things I did as a writer on purpose, and also just because I'm not that smart, but like that feel uneven and kind of crunchy. And that's the kind of stuff that makes it feel like an independent film, where it doesn't just go boom, 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 like that. Yeah. And we wanted to marry all those sort of uneven, more jagged things about the film with it looking beautiful, with it having a really nice cast, and making it independently, I think, was really the only way we were going to be able to achieve that sort of baklava of tones, and we wanted a genuine earnestness and sincerity. I think in independent filmmaking, those are kind of like dirty words. And, it's not like a faith-based film. Like there's like sex scenes in it, and they're dealing with like crunchy stuff. But
you hump a chair.
I hump a chair and throw up in a vase.
That was so funny.
That really happened. Did you guys relate to the casting nightmare scenes? That really happened. That humping of a chair. We cut a couple
of them too. Yeah, I did.
I think the casting director actually saw the movie, but I don't think he realized it was. Right?
Honestly, people are so self-involved. Like, I'll be so shocked. Like, if I don't get one, this isn't autobiographical, but there were some of the lines in the movie are things that were really said to me or whatever. And I'm a writer, so of course I have a better like memory bank than most people. But I will be, after this gets, put on iTunes and Amazon, et cetera, I will be so stunned at people's inability to like hear themselves if I don't get one single text from someone like, hold on, buddy. Is that me, or is that thing about me, or is that thing about me? But like people don't think. Yeah, but they never think it's themselves. They don't.
So bad. That's the opposite. But like Anne Lamott, I think, said in Bird by Bird, she said, if people didn't want you to write bad things about them, they should have been nicer.
It's true.
As she flips her hair. No, I mean, like it's some of the events in the movie are based on real stuff, but it's like, I mean,
but her dad's alive.
How many writers are in here? Is there any writer? Yeah, like, so you write like a million drafts, and when your mom is the director, it's like not Writers Guild approved how many drafts I did. I probably did. By the time we were ready to shoot, I don't even know, 30 or 40 drafts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not the whole thing, just certain
parts. I would say like we were through like 11 really different passes, but definitely like 30 or 40 like soft passes. Wow. Oh yeah, because I would go in every time. Anyway, we'll talk about this at home.
Therapy later.
So slightly shifting gears, because we are at SAG-AFTRA. How did each of you get your SAG card?
I think they hunted me down. Wait, oh God, I think I owe them money right now. Look at the moving cups.
I actually have a bad. I did a commercial.
We're both in trouble.
We're both in trouble. I did a commercial. The casting director was brilliant because you can go online and you could see a Burger King commercial with myself, Elizabeth Shue, and Sarah Michelle Gellar, all in the same commercial in 1843. And Sarah Michelle Gellar was sitting on my lap. She was a little girl. And they came, I did a bunch of Burger King commercials, and they came and they were like,
you need to be
in
SAG.
SAG.
That's what happened.
I thought I was. And
That's what happened to me. I did like 8 of the worst movies ever made. And by like the 7th or 8th one, they were like, we don't care that they're like bad movies. You still have to join SAG. And I was like, oops.
But I'm super happy.
But you still have the cards, yeah.
I still have the card.
I've been carrying my card for so long.
Those are great stories.
I know.
They're good stories.
Well, yeah.
Don't do this at home.
Yeah,
Just sign right up.
Don't listen to us. Oh my God.
And then everything will go great.
I mean, you guys are living proof. Well, I guess no, you didn't sign. You never signed. Just sign the cards.
I'm gonna sign the card.
Leah, how does it feel? Did you encourage your daughters to go into show business or creative fields, or was that just like a foregone conclusion? No.
She was praying one of us would be a doctor or a lawyer, but here's the thing that people don't realize, and I have to say it because like we're in New York and it feels cool. It's not just like my mom and dad who do entertainment stuff. It's like real deep. Like her mom was one of the first female disc jockeys in America. My dad's dad, Murray Deutch, was the head of music publishing for United Artists. He gave Buddy Holly his first publishing contract.
But he also played with all the big bands as a singer. He sang with like Buddy Herman and everyone, like the whole thing.
And my dad's mom started Frank Sinatra's fan club when she was 13 years old.
My God.
She literally, Frank's team hired her to come on the road and like wrangle all the girls in the crowd and like tell them when to scream, faint, fall on the floor. She would like organize the photographers and be like, okay, get this girl, she's gonna faint now. Like, and also your dad was on the Chautauqua circuit, right?
Both my grandpas were on the Chautauqua
your grandpa,
circuit.
yeah. So no, like it's not just like my mom was in Back to the Future and she was like, now my children will be actresses, you know, like
your family.
It's
blood.
like so deep that it wasn't really like, it's just like what we do, I think. Work in entertainment.
Yeah, Zoe was really my daughter Zoe, who plays Sabrina. She was really intent on it very early, and I kind of like made her wait till she was 15 or 16. I didn't want to take her to auditions because they would come out of the door and be like, "Why is she here with Leah? Why is Lea Thompson here?" But I just thought she wasn't really ready. I mean, I think some kids, I've worked with different kids, and some of them are like amazing. They're like meant to be actors when they're young.
Remember when you did, was it SVU? You did it with Abigail Breslin before she did Little Miss Sunshine.
Oh, I mean, she was just unbelievable.
But you said her mom said that when she was born, she was like, la da da, like when she came out of the womb, like she was ready to be a star. Like
her mom was like, what happened?
Yeah.
But Maddie was always like going to be a singer. Like she was always going to do that. And
we just passed my college and I was like, I hate that play. I went to conservatory at the new school, like on 6th Avenue and 13th Street. Yeah.
So she did.
But you hated it?
I didn't. Yeah. No, I didn't love it. I was there for jazz, like the world's biggest dork ever. Like I studied jazz in high school and college. That was what I did. Real serious dork here. Anyone want to talk about like Charlie Parker? You just like hit me up after the Q&A.
Please, scat.
No, Micah, will not do that. No.
Are you sure?
Will not.
Okay. All right. Got it.
But fun fact, now this is, I don't know how they come up with this, but less than 1% of movies are scored by women. And even though this isn't a super complicated score, Maddie scored it. And
rude.
I know, but
it's hard.
There's no violins or whatever.
Violins suddenly it becomes hard.
I know.
I didn't have the money for a chamber orchestra. Thank you, Leah.
I know, but you got your band. Like she did the same theme in the beginning of the movie in jazz as she did at the end with her last song, which I think was so cool. Like nobody will ever catch that.
I don't know if people know. So like that end credit song that was like 365, it's so good. That one that was playing when we were rolling credits. When the movie opens, it goes bum 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 bum. And it's like, it's literally the exact same song. It's just one was like a jazz quartet, and then one is like a full-blown like 80s synth pop song. So we did fun stuff like that. And the score was hard. Okay, Mom, the score was hard. This feels like when a kid brings home finger paints and they're like, I think you could do better next time, sweetie.
I'm a mom. I can't
You're in trouble
win.
now.
I can't win.
Buddy.
I can't win. It's not like, dun, 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 you know what I mean? Like, you would have done, next time I'll get you.
The more you talk,
I'm digging a deeper and deeper hole.
The worse it
can't
gets.
win.
Like, I'm sorry I'm not like, oh, you know what? No, again, we'll talk about this later.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Save
ask,
it for therapy.
I'm gonna move on.
Not the female John Williams, okay?
There's one missing. Like if there were the three of us here, it would be forget about it.
no.
Oh God, that
good.
would have been
Or
fun.
two.
This is amazing. You guys are amazing. So Lea, okay. So you brought up Me Too. This is such a weird transition, but I know that
If we bring up Me Too, it's a weird
I
transition.
know.
It's
Okay. So you brought up Me Too, and it is kind of unreal how quick, like how recent that was, and the different kinds of conversations that we're having. But you came of age in the time you worked with John Hughes, and you came of you know Back to the Future and Red Dawn. You mentioned some of the really seminal films that you came up in. What, like, have you seen the industry change in ways that you think are positive or negative? Like, have you seen change?
Well, I think the fact that there's a conversation about it is a big difference, you know? And I think the interesting thing about Me Too for most women and men or whatever, but most women is that you reflect back and you're like, wow, that stuff happened to me. And I just was kind of like, okay, whatever, that's what happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
you don't, and it took a little piece of your confidence away or your ability to like, dream or hope or whatever it took. And so I think the fact that you can have a conversation about it and be just like, that wasn't cool. Like I for me, when I really reflect upon it, I think a lot about the fact that I played all these parts, which were basically like guys idealized girls, you know, even in Red Dawn when I had an AK-47, I was just like John Milius's idea of the perfect young girl, you know, shooting things. But whatever it was somebody else's kind of idea of what the idealized girl is. So what happens is you kind of just like keep kind of fitting into this thing, and it kind of wears you down a bit. And what's interesting for me now with that and with my girls actually helping me take my own power back in a lot of ways, or taking power that I've earned and learned. And like they gave me the confidence to create this thing and really do all the work and inspired me because they're a different generation than I am. And I always call it the head tilt. Because sometimes when I'm trying to coach them on certain parts, I'm like, well, I think you should just go like, it's okay, you know, tilt the head so you're not, you know, scaring them, you know, scaring a man or scaring people or whatever. And that was how I kind of grew up, just like apologizing for being who I was or for having feelings or being afraid or being angry, you know, just like always apologizing. And instead of just being who I am. And the tilting head.
She's always like, you're incapable of the head tilt.
Yeah.
Which is...
Yeah, it's a different
probably
generation.
a good thing.
Yeah.
Probably a good thing.
And you see that in this character actually because she does have a sex life and it's not an issue. It's not like to be apologized for or not apologized for.
I was obsessed with that. Obsessed. That was one of my things that I refused to bend on about this movie. I bent on stuff, but like that I was obsessed with. People would come at us like, why does there need to be 3 sex scenes in the movie? Because, trust me, there need to be. Like, you know, why do we need to really show? Can we just talk about it? Nope. You know, why? I mean, at one point, oh, God help us all. There was somebody who was like, I mean, she has sex with 3 guys in a year. Like, she is so slutty. And I was like, what?
This was a young person, too.
This was a youngish person. And I literally was like, great. So I'll call you when I get to the convent. I'll report back. Like, what planet is this person living on? Like, it was it was really strange to me how
all women hold each other to much higher
Really
standards, unfortunately, than they do to men, and that's got to stop. We've got to kind of like let each other off the hook, which means we have to let ourselves off the hook.
Yeah.
You know, I think we hold our characters and the female characters that have to be so much better.
Yeah.
Everyone goes like crazy when they do things that aren't.
I go crazy. I mean, I know it's like I have to catch myself. Like I was working on a TV show last year called Outcast that Cinemax shelved. Thank you, Cinemax. And I guess they're supposedly coming out this summer. But it was a really good show. It was amazing actors in it. Patrick Fugit and Phil Glenister and all these incredible actors. But I was there were actually a few female directors, but I remember one came on and she was like really doing some stuff that I, like thought was a mess. And I remember catching myself saying to someone like, she's making it worse for all of us. And that feeling of scarcity versus abundance is where women operate from. And it's not our fault. Like, it's just, that's the way it is, right? Yeah. It's like we're given so few opportunities that when we see somebody kind of fall down on the job, we're like, because we're so afraid that there's a finite amount of jobs available, which so far has been the truth. Right. It's not made up. So you have to catch yourself. I mean, I didn't tell you this. I had a journalist today say to me, we sat down and she was like, can I be really honest? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I watched the movie last night and at first I couldn't stand Izzy. And then I realized it was like all this internalized misogyny I had.
Oh, wow.
About wanting women to really make all the perfect decisions and blah, blah, blah. But maybe that is an effect of Me Too times up, that she realized it that quickly.
Which is great.
She didn't think I hate this character for a week. It happened that fast that she was like, no, I think I've been taught this.
Yeah. That's why it's the pressure that we put on each other. And there's that moment in the film when you're fighting with Jesse Bradford and he's being horrible to you and you say,
I love that scene.
We're not going out anymore. You can't talk to me that way. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? He couldn't talk to you that way when you were going out.
I know.
What? And
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that
but
interesting?
It's like, we're critical of one another.
I love you for mentioning that. I love that scene.
It's an upsetting scene because you feel like maybe she's gonna, because they have this chemistry. They have an undeniable attraction. He's a jerk. But yeah, so I was glad that you didn't. But
I love you.
We only have a couple minutes left. So I would like to ask if you could give a room full of actors any advice, whether it is the best advice that you have ever received or just words of wisdom, whatever it is, what would you say to your fellow SAG members?
Oh, can you teach me how to act better? There's somebody teach me. I think acting is the hardest alchemy in the world. I don't know. Let's ask her. She's a genius.
No, I mean, one of the things that was taught to me was like, never give up, really, because you just never know. Like, keep working, keep trying, keep exploring. And now it is interesting because you can create your own content, unfortunately. I mean, but it's hard work. But that's what Maddie did. That's what we did. And it's a completely different world than when I started. And for me, what's great always about acting is that everything you do during the day makes you a better actor. Like when you study, when you read, when you sing, when you dance, when you laugh, when you go to a movie, everything is making you more prepared to be alive. And that's what you have to do when you're acting. You have to find a way to stay alive and, transmit that, and so fear is the enemy. And that's what I find about good directing versus bad directing. People who make you afraid, don't make you feel safe, don't make you feel supported, they're bad directors. But directors that can make you feel safe and make you feel protected and nurtured, they are the ones that get the performances out of you. So anything you can do to fight the fear, I do crazy things to fight the fear. I used to wonder why I was so bawdy, like I'd be like so bawdy and silly on the set and everything. And then I heard this story about, Rebel Without a Cause. What's his name? James Dean. And he went and he took a pee in front of everybody that was standing there to watch him work. And he came back and he said, now that they've seen that, anything I do here won't be surprising or weird. Like, whatever it takes to kind of free you up. And I realized that's why I was so bawdy when I'm acting, because I just need to like take the
But also, you do something that a lot of actors are really. I think it's a very unintelligent move when an actor separates themselves from the crew.
Yeah.
You make and have made a really conscious choice since you birthed me that I've watched, which is that everybody is the frickin' same on set. And like honestly, because because the minute I think the other thing you did is it's tough when you're an actor because you have to know the business enough to play the game, but not too much that as a human being you're an actor, not a human being as a human being.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? Like you're always like, maybe today I'll go fix the pool drain, and then maybe tomorrow I'll finger paint, and then the day after that maybe I'll rock climb. But you do all those things on purpose because they're all grist to your mill. Like when a part comes along, all of a sudden you understand the condition of a certain kind of human being because you've sort of like, even if you just know a little like tiny shred of what it's like, then you can be a better actor. I think that's what happens to maybe people when they get really famous, is why their work starts to suck a lot of the time, because they're no longer a human being, right? Now they're an actor.
A rich person.
But no, they're an actor. Like,
yeah.
No, I think you made a conscious choice to not ever
separate.
do that stuff. Yeah.
No, separate from what
and
you're
also
trying to
when
play.
you feel comfortable with like crew and you're not better than somebody, then you can take risks. Like that was one of the things that was amazing about this movie is our DP Brian was also our operator, which for me I felt incredibly safe to try things because I felt that there was a friend behind the lens, not an enemy, or frankly not even a camera. As if there was just like a good friend of mine in the room who was like really goofy. Like I urge you, if you're making your own project, to get a DP who operates if you're going to be doing like kind of sensitive scenes, like hard stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. I mean, I think that if you make the audience your friend, if you feel embraced and you embrace it kind of makes that circle of humanity possible and keeps you from being afraid. And that's like really important. And that's one thing I frankly adore about acting. I love that you can meet someone and hardly know them and they're playing your husband and you can look in their eyes and you can see like they're you know them. You have contact, you have human contact. I mean, I remember doing that same SUV you were talking about here in Viola Davis. It was many years ago. And I
remember the episode.
Yeah.
Your eggs were
stolen. My eggs were stolen.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know.
But
this bitch crazy.
I was crazy. It was a good story. But Viola Davis was not Viola Davis. She was just sitting there, and I came in. She was playing my lawyer. It was super dry, boring scene, kind of in a way. And I started acting with her, and I was like, like I knew her. Like my spirit touched her spirit, and we didn't have to talk. We didn't have to spend that much time together. And I love that about being an actor. And then, I don't see her for 10 years, and I see her again, and and that's the kind of actress she is. But I love that. I love that about being an actor, and the fact that you can and have that same thing with like really great crew members, or and have that kind of contact. It doesn't have to be like going out to dinner or whatever. People always ask me that, are you still friends with everybody you work with? Like, no,
so
there's a million people. But if I saw them, the people that I made really good contact with, because what's really important is saving your spirit, and whatever it is that keeps your spirit strong is what you have to do, and that really doesn't include being a jerk. It really includes being a good person and like, trying to work on yourself and your body and your singing. Like, even if you can't sing, like singing or dancing instantly will make you feel better. I mean, if I sing, if I'm feeling bad.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Hey, I sang Cabaret across the street and I was really good.
She's my sister and I are always dying because she goes in the bathroom anywhere and she's like, don't cry for me. Like, she loves the acoustics in any bathroom. And we're just like, oh my God, Mom. Like, but as far as like the one thing I will say that I've really has given me such joy on being able to create content for anyone who's creating your own content, only advice. I mean, I'm complete spaz. Like, I don't know. I don't have advice to give. But one thing, which is that the word maybe is probably the most useful tool in creating content more than anything else. Like, when you're working in a creative, collaborative space, if you like, no is like the enemy, I think. And yes is also, it's good, but maybe is magical. Like, when you get a writer and a director together, you know, somebody's got notes or something or this, that, or the other, and you're not sure and you're chewing on it and blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe, or maybe if we do this, or maybe, and I hear what you're saying, but maybe not, or blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like my one secret weapon, but it gets everyone in this plane of like equalness where you already have like disarmed the other person and eliminated the ego, and you're already like equal.
I think it works for acting too all the time.
Oh, right. And acting so much too. So, and because I think, because
yes and
but also there's something for me about maybe, especially when it comes to giving notes to a writer. People, I think writers are really annoying most of the time, but like definitely railroading a writer with notes without like just making it like a suggestion is like, you're never going to win. Because they already know what's coming, and they're already frustrated and bracing for impact. So I think that's one of my favorite tools for collaboration, is using the word maybe.
That was a really long answer.
It was a good answer, though.
I mean, we like answered that for an hour and a half.
I liked it. Well, thank you both so much. Congratulations on the film.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for coming. Tell your friends. It's coming out soon.
Yeah.
June 15th.
Thank you.